Welcome to From the Desk of the Mayor. Thank you, NEK-TV, for allowing us to bring updates to Newport. Good morning, Newport, and I am here with my fellow council member, Rick Ufford-Chase.
Good morning.
And we are here to just give you some quick updates and hope you have a wonderful weekend and a phenomenal July 4th. So we had our regular council meeting last night, and at that council meeting, we came up to the time where the council liaisons that the council had authorized to happen several months ago is up for a shift. So what the president of the council and I did is we went through the rotations and we put together the rest of the time frames of liaison shifts going all the way through March. So I just want everyone to know what they are. So from July 1 through October 1, the mayor will now be the liaison with the police department. Councilmember Ufford-Chase will be the liaison with the fire department. President Vachon will be the liaison with the recreation department. Councilmember Charbonneau will be the liaison with the zoning administrator, and Councilmember Curtis will be the liaison with the Department of Public Works. Once that period ends, beginning October 1 through January 1, the rotation will again shift. And the mayor will become the liaison to zoning. Councilmember Ufford-Chase will take on the Department of Public Works. President Vachon will then take the police department. Councilmember Charbonneau will shift to the fire department, and Councilmember Curtis will shift to the recreation department. And then the final shift that I have worked with President Vachon for January 1 through March 1, the mayor will work with the fire department, Councilmember Ufford-Chase with the police department, President Vachon with the Department of Public Works, and Councilmember Charbonneau with the rec department, and Councilmember Curtis going back to the zoning administrator. This does not undo anything in the charter with responsibilities of the mayor, the president of the council, and the council members. What this does is say, hey, go out there, learn how our departments work, understand our city, find out what some of the concerns are, report back to the council so we can be up to date and we are not waiting months and months and months to find out that, oh my goodness, these departments needed some assistance, or they had a budget issue, or they had something coming up and they didn't know how to handle it. But it's learning how these departments work so that the council members really understand when budgets come out, why those budgets are worth voting for or against.
I'll just say, as a council member, I'm really looking forward to this because I came into this position with a lot of experience with the rec department and a little bit of experience with Travis and the police department, and almost no experience with public works and the fire department and zoning. So I'm looking forward over the next year to really beginning to get to know those folks.
Yeah, and we're thankful for you stepping up on the fire department now, especially since the fire department's in transitions and the fire department is doing fine, but right now we have taken positions that we're going to be moving forward, and this is the time where they're going to need your views and bringing those back to the council so we don't lose any momentum on their needs.
Right. It's about listening as much as it is sharing, as far as I'm concerned right now.
Right. And what I want to be very clear, when there's a liaison, they do not step into the shoes of operations. They don't give advice to the department heads or the department. They bring that information back to the council and the mayor, who's part of the council, okay? And then we make those decisions on how to get back to the city manager and the different departments. So it's very important that the liaisons understand they are there as intake.
Right with you.
And to learn, okay? Not to direct.
Yeah, actually, that's great news because I got no time to try and direct anybody else in my life.
Yeah.
So,
right, and I don't think anybody wants me to direct the police chief. So,
pretty sure that's true.
I'm pretty sure, right? Just like they wouldn't want me being the fire chief. So I think we're all on the same page there. I do know that we had you had with your organization a great meeting, and we brought in some outsiders, some other. A mayor and some other professionals, and we know that there's talk about TIFs going on, possibly bringing it to our city and having some discussions about that, and we are going to have more of an open forum as we get closer after we get our plan back from the professionals.
So actually, I think it will be during the process of their creation of the plan.
Even better.
The plan is that the mayor will be meeting with the company that we've hired, that the city has hired, and that Newport Downtown Development is kind of managing that relationship to get it done quickly. But sometime over the summer, they will be looking to create community engagement sessions with our help as a community, as a council, to make sure that people have a chance both to hear the direction that we're headed and also to share their ideas about what that final plan might look like. So it'll be a give and take session, and there will be at least one and probably several of those opportunities.
So I'm glad to hear that. We should definitely start to at least hold some dates. And if you could coordinate with Mike Brown.
Yeah, I'm assuming actually that we're going to have the first meeting where you get to meet the folks from VHB tomorrow, I think, right?
I think, isn't it today? It might be. It's
You
today
may be
or
right.
tomorrow. Right.
And in any case, whenever
Right.
that meeting happens, I think one of the things that we'll be talking about is getting those dates on the calendar, and then I'll go talk with Mike about them as well.
Right. I just want to make sure that we have some dates because as we get into holidays and
It's going to go really quickly this summer.
right, and so I want to make sure that we're there. I do want to let everybody know that we are going to be educated and help educate the public on TIFs, the pros, the cons, and how it would affect our tax roll, our tax basis, our properties, how it entices developers and what the cons are sometimes as well. So it's going to be informative, and I think it's very important that you show up and you stay engaged and you hear, because that's the whole purpose, and I think that's what our council is doing right now, is trying to be as transparent as we can. You know, there are certain legal obligations for us to go into executive session, but once those legal obligations are done and issues are resolved, we come out and we let you know what's going on. Sometimes items on our council agendas take a long time because they are legal obligations, and we do need to speak with our city attorneys. And we take attorney-client privilege very seriously, and we take issues seriously. So bear with us, because we don't just sign off on anything just because it sounds good. We really do a deep dive into legal documents, and compliance is our main issue. And if we are going to be asking for money from federal grants and state grants, we need to be in compliance, and we need to focus on being conservative and then making sure our grant applications are fair and accurate and we are in compliance. So that's the stuff from the council, okay? But now I'd love to hear some good things that are going on. I know we had that great Bike Canada. Could you just give us a little bit on that?
Yeah, I got a list. So we had this amazing event about a week and a half ago now that was co-sponsored by Newport Downtown Development and MRC Memphremagog. MRC Memphremagog is roughly equivalent to Orleans County, although they have a lot more financial resources and they're far more hands-on in terms of supporting the 17 local towns around the northern part of Lake Memphremagog. So we co-sponsored this bi-national bike day, and it was there were 50 riders, 25 from Canada, 25 from the U.S., and we called it Cyclo Gourmet. And the idea was that we began in Stansted, and the 50 riders had breakfast at the Auberge Sunshine, and then they rode to Ayers Cliff, and they ate again, and then they got back on their bikes, and they rode all the way down to Newport, crossing the border on their bikes, and came down the BB Spur bike trail and the bike path, and we met them here in Newport, and met at the Tasting Center and the Montgomery Cafe, the new Green Mountain Natural Foods Cafe. provided lunch for them, and there was a tasting from Eden Specialty Ciders. And then they all got on their bikes and they biked back to Stansted, crossing the border again on the way. And the rain held off. It was a rainy day, but it never rained hard. It was all just a few drizzles.
I took care of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And when it doesn't cooperate, you'll also be taking responsibility for the weather in the future.
Well, I was going to pass that to the president of the council in my stead.
I see how it works. So anyway, that was a great day. And clearly the sign of things to come. I mean, everybody came away saying, we need to do this more often and bigger. So we'll be doing more.
Wow, that is great. It's just amazing how internationally we're saying this is a culture we need, and we need this peace, and we need this union, and we should all be together. And I thought that's what that message was.
And there's a lot going on. There are 3 other initiatives right now that we're working on. I'll just mention them quickly.
No, please.
The most important one for folks to know about right now is that this week we're going to go live with recruitment for third Saturday Mem-for-Magog familiarization trips. And people can sign up for a trip where we take folks together in a bus that we're getting from Jay Peak across the border with a French-speaking and an English-speaking guide. I'll be going on 2 of those trips with a colleague from MRC Magog. And we'll be visiting Stansted and the local area, going to little farms and cooperatives, or collectives of artists on both sides of the border. It's just a day-long trip to get familiar with the other side of the border. We'll be doing that on third Saturdays in July, August, and September.
So is this
stay tuned.
Open to the public?
Yeah, we want people to sign up. There will be a charge for it.
That's okay.
And we're charging, we'll sell tickets, and we'll have, I think, 20 or 21 slots available each of those 3 Saturdays. And again, if this works well, we'll start doing more of it. These are just to test the waters. So that's going on. We've got a new version of the Sights and Tastes of Mem-for-Magog map that we created together last summer that's coming out in the next couple of weeks, and it will now be online as well. And then finally, we're doing this Canusa 360 Arts Collaborative, which is, the goal is to create a little micro arts region that crosses the border and covers basically Stansted, Derby, Newport, and the surrounding villages.
Beautiful.
And just trying to get people to think about this area for its remarkable artistic content, because there's a lot.
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing talent here.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing talent. And now tell us a little bit about your kiosk and your other...
Yeah, our kiosk. So this is a project that predated me. In 2018, the master plan that was done called on or named the possibility of creating an electronic interactive kiosk in downtown Newport. It got sidetracked by COVID, and when I came in 3 years ago, the city manager and our board asked that we make that a priority. It's taken 2.5 years to bring it to completion, but anybody who's driven by the municipal parklet and is observant will see that the kiosk is now in place, and it will go live sometime this week. I just got the Verizon cellular service set up for it, and we're going to go film a little welcome video that will go on it. But by the end of the week, I expect we'll have it up and running after 2 years of working.
How exciting is that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you have another project too, right?
So there are a bunch of cool little projects.
Go for it.
The next one is the vendor carts. We're creating Newport vendor carts. Newport Downtown Development is going to build a dozen of them, and they will be painted bright colors, the color of our logo, the Discover Newport logo, and we'll rent them to local home-based businesses and small entrepreneurs to line along the street on nice days where the block was torn down, to just bring some kind of shopping life and vitality to downtown Newport in an inexpensive and accessible way.
Beautiful.
So if anybody's interested in that, they should reach out to us at Newport Downtown Development. We'll be taking applications, and there's a little group that will decide who those 12 spots will go to if there are more than 12 who would like to do it, in part because we don't want to have 4 homemade jewelry folks in 12 carts, right? We're trying to even out the number of different kinds of things we can offer. And then we're also renting space in the tasting center where the pool tables used to be, so that the vendors will be stored in those carts, will be inside the building for security and weather. And they can actually, there's room to open them up and turn it into a little inside market on bad weather days. So in theory, at least, we'll be able to run this program all winter long and just bring the kind of shopping life into the tasting center.
That's very interesting. So will those who rent, let's say, the cart, and they were going to be outside, are they renting short term? Are they renting for a season, or is it in the air
great
yet.
question, Linda. We're still trying to figure out exactly how to do it. I think it will end up being month-to-month leases just to keep it easy for everyone to keep track of, because I don't really want to mess with when did your year-long contract start and what happens if you leave in the middle, and we're just trying to keep it simple. So I expect we'll end up with a summer rate for rentals and a winter rate for rentals.
Okay.
We haven't got a final number on that, but it's going to be accessible. The goal is to make it affordable. And once you sign up, the commitment is that you will be open, like this summer, 3 of the 4 high volume days of the week that we're trying to really bring attention to the street. So that would be right now Wednesdays for Wednesday nights on the waterfront, and Friday evenings, Saturday and Sunday afternoons and evenings. And we're asking that every vendor commit that they will try and open at least 3 of those 4 times a week, so that we really get some vibrancy going on with all of them. And then any other time they want to be open, inside or outside, they are welcome to do it. It's their cart while they rent it.
Right. And we had also last night an invitation to the council to come to the Happy Campers at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. They're doing their breakfast. They invited us. Apparently the Happy Campers, they came to the mayor's meetings, and President Fishon was there with me as well. And they are visiting campers. Like, they come to Newport all the time. And we weren't aware of all this fun stuff they're doing. And so they have a series of things that they've done and they're going to continue to do, and they've invited us, and I'll keep announcing it. So hopefully many council members will be able to show up on Saturday morning and have breakfast.
With a part of our community that is transient but important.
But important,
right?
Because
and
they are
Prouty
here.
Beach Campground is such an incredible resource in this community.
Absolutely.
So I think anything we can do to strengthen those relationships is fabulous.
And I do want to say I appreciate all of our residents coming to the mayor's hours. President Vachon, because he's on vacation now from school, has been coming. He's came to the meeting, and he will be attending more. And he just dove right in, because we listen to the issues and we try to get them resolved quickly. And it's just been overwhelming. People are coming in a good way, overwhelming, nonstop, and we're putting things together and hopefully resolving situations that have been going on for a long time, or new things that are coming up. And if we can't resolve it, at least getting you to the right resources. So
I love those mayor's hours. I've come 2 or 3
Yeah.
times, and I come away, much more aware of what people's concerns are. And I don't know that any other way you could really figure that out other than those public hours. It's been great.
It's great. So it's Monday morning from 9 to 11 open. Just come on in. You get to hear everyone talk, citizens talk. If you need my personalized time, that's on Wednesday from 9 to 11. So you just reach out to me and we set up set appointments, because I understand that sometimes you need to speak to just me and the council member, as opposed to just the general public. But the Monday ones are phenomenal, because you get to meet your fellow citizens and you get to hear, and sometimes your issues are the same. And then you work together. In fact, yesterday we had one citizen turned around to another citizen and said, hey, I hear what you're going through. I'm on my way to this meeting. Let me take you with me and introduce you to some resources. How wonderful was that?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
And so it opens the door. You get to meet your neighbors, and we're there for you. And it's very important to me and the council that we hear from you. So I think that's all I've got today.
Can I just do 2 more quick things?
You can do 20 more quick
Well,
things.
it's going to be 2. One is just to repeat that tomorrow night is our first Wednesday on the waterfront for the season. There'll be 7 weeks this year instead of 6. Andrea and Vero have outdone themselves as usual. The weather looks good tomorrow night. And we have, I think, 4 or 5 food trucks lined up to go along that empty block like we did last year. So come out tomorrow night and support this amazing community event, a free event downtown. And it's going on for the next 7 weeks.
I'll be there.
And then the last thing I want to mention is that we have a new business on Main Street. If you haven't checked it out yet, All About Home from up in Derby has moved to become a Main Street business. They opened yesterday. The shop is fabulous. It's in the old Newport Jewelers, right next to Green Mountain Natural Foods, and kind of between that and the Goodrich Library. And I wasn't in town yesterday during the day, but I hear that there was a steady flow of traffic, 15 to 20 people, almost all day long. So it's fabulous to have them on the avenue. I'm so excited about it. And stay tuned, because I think it's a sign of things to come.
Yeah, that's what we need. The vitality, the new businesses, it just changes the whole
It changes everything.
pulse.
That's right. Thank you.
And then also, shout out to our flowers.
Yeah, right?
Oh my goodness. Shout out to our flowers. We need the flowers to go further around Newport.
Yeah, Robert's doing like he always does, just doing an incredible job.
Yeah.
And he works all year. You know, there's an awful lot of hidden work in that. And it sure looks beautiful this time of year.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you, and thank you for joining me. And, I always want you to join me. I want my council members on here as much as possible so we can get our message out to our residents, and we listen to what they want to hear, and then we try to address it. So have a phenomenal time this week. Please be safe, 4th of July, and we'll see you out in Newport at all these events. Thank you, and thank you, NEK-TV.